Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today, we're going to talk about taxing the shit out of billionaires. Okay, I did a little research. It turns out that there's about 2,200 billionaires in the United States, and their total combined worth is $9 trillion. Okay, so all the billionaires in the United States, all 2,200 of them, in total, they're worth $9 trillion. So what we're gonna consider here is if we tax these guys 100%, take everything that they have. Okay, this isn't just a tax on their income. This is a tax on their assets. We're gonna take everything. Basically, these guys are gonna end up homeless. Okay, in San Francisco, Los Angeles, and New York City, because that's where all the homeless people are. Okay, so these guys are gonna join the Democrats in those three cities, and they're gonna add to the homeless population. That's how we're gonna stick it to these guys. We're gonna take everything they have. So we're gonna take everything they have, and now we have $9 trillion. That's going to go into a reserve, right? For us for the government to use, because we're basically taking all their money. It's going into reserve. So let's consider how we're going to now use this money. Okay. Well, the federal government has an estimated annual revenue of $3 trillion. So there's $3 trillion that the federal government collects every year from taxes, basically. Okay, and the federal government spends, okay, $4 trillion. Okay, so the problem here is that the federal government spends $1 trillion more than it takes in. Okay, because you got $3 trillion coming in, $4 trillion going out. They have a deficit of $1 trillion. Okay, and also at the same time, we have a national debt of $22 trillion, which every year is going up by about $1 trillion, because the reason why it's going up is because the government's spending $1 trillion more than it's making. Okay, so so the government basically every year has to go and borrow from itself. Okay, and it increases the national debt by at least $1 trillion, and I'm not even including the compounding of interest and stuff like that. Just simply operationally, the government spends $1 trillion more than it makes. So the national debt every year is going to go up by $1 trillion. So we have this reserve of $9 trillion from robbing these guys here, right? These guys are assholes. We took all their money. Okay? They don't deserve none of it. Took all their money. We got $9 trillion. How are we going to use it? Well, what we can do is we can balance this budget here. Okay, so this number over here, it's going to go from a 3 to a 4, because every year we're going to take $1 trillion out of here, add it to there, and now we're going to have a balanced budget for the next 9 years. Okay, so we got $9 trillion. That's going to give us, next 9 years we're good. Okay, so in the 10th year we got a problem. In the 10th year, this money's all gone. Okay, $9 trillion is all gone. We don't see this no more. Reserve is empty, and we're back to this situation. Okay, we're still spending $4 trillion while we're taking in $3 trillion. Okay, and realistically speaking, this number would go up anyway. Okay, this number, because it always goes up. The government always finds ways to spend more money. But if they were able to keep it the same, in the 10th year, we're still back to the situation. These guys are gone. They're dead. We got rid of them. Okay, we're still bringing in $3 trillion. We're spending $4 trillion. We still have a budget problem. We're still spending $1 trillion more than we're making. Okay, government-wise. So the point of this is that these guys up here are not the problem. Okay, the problem is these guys over here, the government. Okay, the government has a spending problem, and it will not be fixed by taxing the shit out of those guys. Okay, because even if you take every penny that they have, that's only going to buy you 9 years. Okay, and then you're going to go back to the situation where you're still spending $1 trillion more every year. Now, let's look at this realistically, okay, in the sense that you're not actually going to get $9 trillion out of these guys, because probably 98 to 99% of this money, of this $9 trillion that the billionaires have, that money is sitting in the stock market. Okay, that's basically money that's been appreciating in the stock market. It's not like money sitting in a safe somewhere. Okay, so what's going to happen is once you take their assets, okay, and you try to dump them in the stock market's going to crash. Okay, because first of all, who's going to buy this $9 trillion of equities that you're now dumping into the stock market? So you're going to cause a huge crash, which is going to basically cause the value of the billionaires to go down. In the end, you're probably going to get maybe a few hundred million out of these billionaires, okay? And that's going to be reflected basically in real estate, in hard assets that they actually owned. And like I said, the total worth of that is probably just going to be a few hundred million. And here's the thing: the real estate is actually going to depreciate as well, because if you seize all their physical assets like their real estate, and all of a sudden you try to dump that into the market and try selling it, supply and demand. Once you dump that real estate in the market, the value of the real estate is going to go down. So again, you're not getting any money out of these guys. Okay. Now, how about the millionaires that are underneath them? Okay. Well, same thing with the millionaires. The millionaires, most of their money is in the stock market. That's where that's where their net worth is. So once you tank the stock market, you're no longer going to have any millionaires either. Those guys are going to disappear overnight as well. So if you tax the billionaires 100%, you're not going to achieve anything. Okay, so that's the reality of the situation. That's why it makes absolutely no sense to go to these guys up here and try to tax the shit out of them to fix a problem that's actually being caused down here by the government. Okay, this is a government problem. There's nothing wrong with the billionaires. The problem is with the government. The government has a spending problem. Okay. These guys are actually producing. They're producing. These guys over here, they're in negative territory. So that's the reality of the situation. If you put a 100% tax on the billionaires and tax the shit out of them and take everything that they have, at best you might run the government for 9 years, ideally. Okay, if their assets don't devalue, but realistically that's not going to happen. And if you look at look at the last two stock market crashes, you had one in around 2001. Okay, stock market lost half its value. Okay, then you had another one around 2008. Stock market lost about half its value, and that's under just normal corrections. Normal, basically the stock market was overvalued. It basically reset itself. Same thing with the real estate back in 2008. The real estate was overvalued. It reset itself. So that wasn't a situation where you are basically robbing people. Okay, so if you try and rob these people, you will probably you're not the stock market isn't going to just lose half its value. It's going to probably lose like 99.99% of its value. So that's the reality situation. This is why taxing the billionaires is not a solution. It's not going to get anybody anywhere. And the people that are saying that we should be taxing the shit out of these guys, they have not done this very simple analysis. And these are very simple numbers. Okay, this is very simple math that any grammar school kid, if you look at it, that's why I didn't put zeros here. I put trillion, because these numbers here, they could just as well be beans. I could say 9 beans, 3 beans, 4 beans, 22 beans. Okay. It doesn't matter whether you're using dollars or pesos or whatever. Marbles. These could be marbles. Okay, if you take somebody's got 9 marbles. Okay, you steal those marbles to try and correct this situation. Well, that's only going to run you for 9 years, and then you still have this problem where you are spending more money than you're taking in. So this is the problem right here. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Share it. Sharing is important because it brings people, it brings people this type of information that ordinarily might not see it or might not have access to it. I try to make my videos fairly short and fairly clear. And I try to simplify them as much as possible. That's why I don't use decimal points. And I did some rounding here so that it's easier for people to understand. But thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.